You slept through your college roommate blasting Limp Bizkit at 2 a.m., cranky toddlers kicking you in the ribs, and birthday sleepovers with a house full of sugared up sixth graders. But then you turned 40, and suddenly just the sound of your husband breathing too loudly can jolt you wide awake. Trust me, it's not just you, because nearly 60% of women in perimenopause and menopause get less than 7 hours of consistent sleep a night. And yet, sleep is still one of the most underrated and overlooked causes of hormone imbalance. But here's the good news. Once we start fixing our sleep, everything else starts to improve too, like our mood, our energy, and even the brain fog we secretly feared was dementia. In today's episode, I'm peeling back the curtain on the 4 biggest sleep dilemmas in perimenopause and what you can do to fall asleep and stay asleep without a prescription or a CBD gummy. So, grab a quick potty break and set your thermostat to Arctic. More on that in a minute. And I'll be back to break it all down in less than 90 seconds. Welcome to Are You There, Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the show. Okay, so do you remember that anti-drug commercial from the late 80s? You know, the one with the guy cracking the egg into the fry pan and saying, "This is your brain on drugs." Well, this is your hormones on no sleep. Cortisol, too low in the morning and too high at night, leaving you wired, tired, and mainlining caffeine just to stay vertical. Thyroid, in slow motion, triggering brain fog, constipation, and weight gain like you're eating for two. Estrogen and progesterone, out of balance and out of whack, leading to heavy periods, headaches, or anxiety that shows up out of nowhere, like a zit on picture day. Because sleep is not just about rest, it's about hormone repair. In fact, according to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, just a few nights of 6 hours of sleep or less can send our entire endocrine system into a tailspin. Today, we're continuing our Back to Hormone Basics series with a spotlight on how poor sleep affects our hormones and what's really working right now for my clients with sleep issues. In this series, we're diving into the 6 root causes of hormone imbalance in midlife to help you understand what's really driving your symptoms and what to do if you want to turn things around. If you missed any part of this series, I'll be sure to link episodes 86 through 92 in today's show notes. So grab a notepad because today I'm walking you through 4 of the most common sleep dilemmas in perimenopause and menopause and your next best step to start sleeping through the night again. Are you ready? Let's get started with sleep dilemma number 1. You fall asleep fine, but then wake up at 2 a.m. Sleep maintenance insomnia is one of the most common hormone-related sleep issues I see in perimenopause. This is you if you fall asleep fine, but come 2 a.m., you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, and wondering if those tortilla chips you had at happy hour contain gluten. This is more than just annoying. It's a one-way ticket to zombie land the next morning. Plus, interrupted sleep can have serious ripple effects on our hormone balance. Now, we've already discussed how deep sleep is when our hormones reset, but when that sleep gets disrupted, especially during the first half of the night, it can throw off our entire cortisol rhythm and blood sugar. And that can set off a full-blown stress hormone response that leaves us feeling tired, wired, and craving an everything bagel the size of our face. The most common triggers of sleep maintenance insomnia in midlife are, number 1, caffeine too late in the day. Did you know that pumpkin spice latte you had after lunch can still be active in your system while you're trying to sleep? That's because caffeine has a half-life of up to 10 hours. And in perimenopause, it's even longer. So that coffee can still be buzzing through your veins and messing with your cortisol and your blood sugar. And if your blood type is cold brew, I want to make sure that you listen to episodes 88 and 89 of this Back to Hormone Basics series for some serious caffeine hacks. Okay, the second everyday trigger is not enough protein at dinner. Too little protein at dinner or too many carbs can lead to blood sugar crashes in the middle of the night that spike your cortisol and jolt you awake, sometimes with a racing heart or even night sweats. Just how much protein should you be eating? Be sure to check out episode 82 of the pod, which I'll link in today's show notes. And the third everyday trigger is alcohol at night. Even though that glass of Pinot with dinner seems to be helping you fall asleep faster, alcohol actually disrupts our GABA. That's the calming transmitter that our brain needs to stay asleep. So you actually end up getting lighter sleep and more wake-ups and way more anxiety the next day. For more ways alcohol could be impacting your hormones, be sure to check out episode 9 of the podcast, which I'll link in today's show notes. So, are you nodding your head? Does this sound like you? Then here's what I recommend trying first. Set a caffeine cutoff at least 10 hours before bedtime. That means no coffee, no matcha or tea, no energy drinks, no pre-workout drinks, and even no chocolate afternoon if you want to be asleep by 10 p.m. And yes, even that innocent half-calf or one little square of dark chocolate can still wreck your REM. Many of my clients who consume caffeine regularly sleep better within just 1 week of making this shift. Sleep number 2 dilemma is you wake up drenched, sweating through your sheets. Up to 80% of women in perimenopause and menopause experience hot flashes or night sweats. 80%. So, whether you're waking up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat or you feel like you're sleeping on a bed of lava, you know what I'm talking about. And whether it's full-on night sweats or a slow roast that has you kicking off the covers every 20 minutes, hot flashes and night sweats can interrupt both our REM and deep sleep. And those are 2 critical sleep stages our body needs to repair, regulate, and rebalance hormones. The most common triggers of night sweats and middle of the night hot flashes are, number 1, sugary or spicy foods at dinner. Turns out sugar and spice aren't so nice when it comes to getting good sleep. Sugar crashes can spike our cortisol in the middle of the night. Meanwhile, spicy foods can raise our body temperature, making us more prone to vasomotor symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats, and have us waking up in a puddle of sweat. The second everyday trigger is heavy bedding or a bedroom that's too hot. That cozy comforter you love to snuggle up in, well, it might as well be a Dutch oven. Because if you're wrapped in thick bedding that traps heat and locks it in, even with your AC on full blast, it's not going to save you from losing your cool. And the third everyday trigger of night sweats and middle of the night hot flashes is stress before bed. And no, I'm not talking about fighting with your spouse over who gets control of the TV remote. I'm talking about stress to your nervous system. Because whether you're shopping online on your phone, checking your kids' grades, or even watching cute puppy reels, you're elevating your cortisol right when it should be dropping. And that stress spike can cause a vasomotor response. So, does this one sound like you? Here's what I recommend trying first. Try layering lighter, breathable bedding you can toss off at night if needed. Opt for moisture-wicking sheets, thinner cotton or bamboo fabrics, and lightweight PJs that don't trap in heat. Add a room fan, especially one aimed at your core, which can help lower your body temp just enough to prevent a hot flash. And for additional tips on how to prevent a hot flash and night sweats, check out episode 23 of the podcast, which I'll also link in today's show notes. Research shows the ideal temperature to sleep is 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, but just a 1 degree drop in our core body temp can help reduce night sweats and hot flashes dramatically. Sleep dilemma number 3 is you wake up multiple times to pee. That's me. Now, if you're going to the bathroom at midnight and 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and you're starting to think you should just move your pillow in there, you're risking more than just your beauty sleep. That's because every time we get up, our sleep cycle gets chopped in half. And when that happens, our body never settles into the deep, restorative phases of sleep we need to actually repair our hormones. So come morning, the closest we've gotten to REM is the old band t-shirt we went to bed in. The most common everyday triggers of nighttime pee marathons in midlife are liquids too close to bedtime and bladder irritants. Yeah, this first one's kind of a no-brainer. I know we're all trying to drink half our body weight in ounces, but if you're drinking enough water during the day or not drinking enough water during the day, and then you're trying to make up for it at dinner by chugging this huge glass of water, just be prepared to answer your bladder's middle of the night wake-up calls. Bladder irritants, on the other hand, are specific foods and drinks that actually agitate our bladder by loosening the muscle, stretching the lining, stimulating flow, or irritating it with too much acidity. Not too much of a problem during the day because, we're awake and we have access to the bathroom. But at night, it's a recipe for doing half-awake laps back and forth. So if this one sounds like you, here's what I recommend. Cut back or eliminate bladder irritants in the evening, so dinner, dessert. These include wine, sparkling water, citrus fruits, caffeine, and yes, chocolate. Now, if you're anything like me and you need a little sweet treat after dinner, try swapping out chocolate for a bladder-friendly option like baked apples with cinnamon, coconut yogurt with berries, chia seed pudding, or even some fresh melon and berries. This works, ladies. Take it from me. In fact, according to a study in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, women who reduced bladder irritants after 6 p.m. cut nighttime bathroom trips by nearly 50% within 2 weeks. Which brings us to our final sleep dilemma, number 4. You fall asleep fine, but you wake up with anxiety. It's 2 a.m. The house is quiet. And suddenly, your brain decides to wake you up to run through your entire to-do list for tomorrow. Sound familiar? Here's what's happening. When we sleep, our brain is supposed to downshift, processing the day's stress so our body can release melatonin and stay in a calm, restorative state. But if we bring stress into bed with us, our brain doesn't quite get the memo. And instead, it stays locked in stress mode, even while we're unconscious, spiking our nighttime cortisol and jolting us awake with racing thoughts that refuse to shut up. The most common everyday triggers of nighttime anxiety are, number 1, dragging stress into bed with us that can show up as middle of the night ruminating, replaying conversations from the day in our head, or just worrying about tomorrow. Number 2, overstimulation from scrolling too close to sleep. And that can wake up our nervous system like a smoke alarm that won't shut off. Or number 3, intense workouts a few hours before bed that can send our adrenaline into overdrive when it should be winding down. If this sounds like you, here's what I recommend trying first to regulate your nervous system. Create a bedtime wind-down routine to tell your brain it's time to switch gears. Put away your phone and read or stretch or journal instead of watching TV. I work with a lot of my clients on this, and one thing that I've found really successful is to make a worry appointment with yourself earlier in the evening. Just 15 minutes to write down everything on your mind. Because studies show that simply writing a quick to-do list before bed can calm nighttime rumination and help you fall asleep faster. So, what if you've tried all of these things? You're like, Monica, I've been there, I've done that, I am still lying awake at 2 a.m. Help me. Well, that's when it's time to find out what's really going on with your hormones and which of your hormones is driving your sleep issues. And that's exactly what we uncover in my free hormone symptom profile assessment. Now, if you haven't taken this free assessment, I want you to head on over to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz right now, because it is a total game changer. First, it's going to tell you whether you have a hormone imbalance or not. And forget what your lab work says, ladies, because this assessment evaluates your symptoms long before they ever show up in your blood. Second, this assessment is going to reveal your main hormone imbalance, so you can finally focus on the solution or solutions that are right for you. This assessment is quick, it's easy, did I mention free? And it's already helped more than 1,900 women get to the bottom of their symptoms and finally start sleeping through the night. Look, you know your body. You know when something's off. So if you're ready to take the first step to take back control of your health, head on over to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz or click the link in today's show notes. So there you go. 4 common sleep dilemmas and some next best steps to start sleeping through the night again. Because protecting your sleep protects your hormones too. And tackling everyday triggers like caffeine, temperature, bladder irritants, and stress can really make a difference between surviving and actually thriving in midlife. And speaking of surviving, did this episode make you think of a friend whose night sweats are so bad she should buy stock in Lumi? Do me and her a favor and click the share button in your podcast app and send her this episode, because friends don't let friends marinate in their own juices. Then join me back here next week for another episode of our Back to Hormone Basics series. Until next time, wishing you health, happiness, and sweet dreams. Hey friend, can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the number one way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.